Major League Baseball in the last 20 years has a very difficult time marketing its star players. And when Shohei Ohtani made the jump from Japan to the major leagues and showed his immense talent as both a hitter and pitcher, Major League Baseball finally had a unicorn star that everybody can gravitate to and everyone believes is the greatest player we have seen in a very long time. Unfortunately, because the Angels were unable to make the playoffs with Ohtani, he eventually made the leap this offseason to the Los Angeles Dodgers, signing the biggest free agent contract in professional sports. But with the jump to the Dodgers, Ohtani has put all kinds of new pressures on himself. And with new pressures and new eyes on the best player in baseball, we have started to see cracks in the foundation. And you have to wonder, is Shohei Ohtani becoming the biggest villain in Major League Baseball? I was literally sitting in this chair recording this video when I got breaking news on the Ohtani story. So we're going to go through all of that information in this video as well. Now, of course, Ohtani's offseason started with that huge $700 million contract signing with the Dodgers for 10 years. Now, what the big issue is that people started to take exception with and where Ohtani started to be painted a little bit as a villain was the fact that $680 million of that is deferred money. And this rubbed people the wrong way. Yes, it's a part of the Major League Baseball collective bargaining agreement. Is there any issues with it? No. But when the fact it decreases the luxury tax amount from a projected $70 million down to $46 million, people kind of see this as a way of the Dodgers exploiting the system. And because it was announced that the deferred money was actually Ohtani's idea, this is coming right from his agent. This suggests that people are going to find some anger with Ohtani. They don't want the Dodgers to win. People love an underdog story. Ohtani was perfect for that scenario with the Angels. They were not a team known for a long tradition of winning. But when you sign a huge contract with one of those high budget teams a la the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Mets, there are going to be new complications. And Ohtani is going to become more and more of a villain. And the fact that the deferred money helped the Dodgers then go on and sign Yoshinobu Yamamoto to a huge $325 million contract, again, people do not like the big spending, big bully on the block. In fact, the Dodgers are essentially turning themselves into the evil empire. The Yankees were hated by fans for so long, especially through the late 90s and early 2000s, where people felt they were simply buying a championship. And it's starting to feel like the Dodgers are getting that same kind of heat. And who's the face of all that? But Shohei Ohtani with the biggest contract in professional sports. And then news broke that Ohtani could potentially have been betting on baseball. Now, we have gained more information along this. We actually learned that his translator, Ippei Mizuhara, is the person who was placing the bets. At the time was thought of being allegedly placing these bets. And he allegedly stole $4.5 million from Ohtani and sent wire transfers from Ohtani's account to a California bookmaker. And of course, betting on any professional sports in California is illegal. But there was the question, was Ohtani aware of the bets? Could he have been involved? And how could he allow his interpreter to get so close to him to access his finances so easily to steal this kind of money? The way Ohtani alleged in that press conference where he didn't allow any question to be asked. He simply made a statement. So you had to wonder, where is the truth in this? And we have had examples of betting scandals in baseball. It's known for the Pete Rose scandal. Is it possible that Shohei Ohtani has connections to what Pete Rose is doing in betting on baseball? And what are the implications here? And it didn't help that Mizuhara first claimed that Ohtani was giving him the money to pay off his gambling debts, and then later retracted that story and told ESPN that in fact he never bet on baseball, and the bookmaker was able to claim this as well and assure us that Mizuhara had never bet on baseball. But it still kind of left Ohtani in the shadows and the potential of, once again, being baseball's growing villain. But we have more news on this story. It's just breaking here tonight as I sit here and record with you guys. And I want to make sure I have it right because it's reported by the New York Times that Ippei Mizuhara, the former interpreter of Shohei Ohtani, was fired in March for allegedly stealing millions of dollars to pay gambling debts. And it has been reported now that Mizuhara is in fact pleading guilty for this purported theft. This is according to the New York Times. I'm reading the story from The Athletic right as we speak here. The report described the investigation in Mizuhara's alleged theft as rapidly nearing conclusion and indicated that federal prosecutors found evidence that Mizuhara may have stolen more than $4.5 million that initially appeared in news reports when the story first broke. And it is believed that Ohtani has in fact been interviewed by the feds as well and is involved in this investigation, but that it is indeed Mizuhara who stole the money from Shohei Ohtani. And it is believed that Mizuhara altered the settings on Ohtani's bank accounts so Ohtani would not be aware of the transactions. This is all part of the story in the New York Times. I'm reading the story off The Athletic. There's information flying around as we go. Baseball is doing its own investigation at this time as well. But at least from the outside looking in, it looks like Shohei Ohtani is in fact guilt-free and has not bet on baseball according to all reports. But the fact that his translator was so close to him in this and was betting on professional sports, you have to think Ohtani was involved some way or at least knew of the gambling debts that were being involved here. They say Mizuhara spent basically every waking hour with Ohtani. And if that's the case, then Ohtani has to take some blame in this as well. You cannot allow people around you to be involved in this kind of activity when you are the new face of the sport. And this, I think, is where we need to see some growth from Shohei Ohtani. Yes, I understand there is a language barrier, but we have seen plenty of Japanese players come over from baseball and have shown ways to interact with the fans and show their personality and their side of the story and just who they are. In fact, as a Blue Jays fan, how can you not forget the interviews of Munenori Kawasaki all those years ago with the Jays? It showed his personality. It showed his desire to embrace the fans and to show who he is and give us a little inside scope as to what type of personality he was and who he was to the fans. And I think that is a step that Shohei Ohtani needs to start to make. I'm not as concerned about the language barrier, but the fact you have simple things like his wedding was completely and totally closed off to the world, where we were introduced to his wife. We didn't have any idea what his life is like. And when you're the highest paid professional athlete, you kind of need to start to let people in. Look at Shoto Imanaga, who just came over from Japan and signed with the Chicago Cubs. And his first interview with the Cubs, introducing himself, he embraced the fact that he is a Chicago Cub. He endeared himself to the fans. And this is what Ohtani needs to be. You cannot play in one of the biggest markets in professional baseball and be this closed off. You can get away with it at times with the Angels when you're a middling team that's missing the playoffs. But when you're competing on a team that's expected to win a World Series championship, you're going to have to face some of these media pressures, and it's time for Ohtani to start stepping up in this regard. And the fact that his first home run ball became such an issue for the Dodgers, it really sets people off. And it's where Ohtani needs to embrace this new role as a big-time face in professional baseball and across professional sports. Ohtani needs to take a step forward and understand his role in baseball, I think. He needs to become more personable. I understand the language barrier. I keep saying this over and over again, but he needs to embrace this stardom. And he didn't have to really with the Angels, and in part that was because of Mike Trout. But when you're now the face of baseball, and in a lot of ways the face of professional sports, it's time for Ohtani to step up and do better. Or he's going to end up being one of, if not the biggest villains in baseball now that he's in Dodger blue. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of the video here on 3 Up, 3 Down. I greatly appreciate all your support. I hope you hit that subscribe button. We are making a push for 500 subscribers. I'd love to hit 450 first. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. It's only going to take a few seconds of your time. As always, go make sure you check out some of my previous videos. My World Series prediction video is out there. I've got a new series based on Out of the Park baseball. I think you'd really like that, especially if you're into gaming. Go check that out. I have a fantasy baseball video out there as well. So until next time, go check those videos out, subscribe to the channel, and take care, everyone.